Alright, just gonna make sure this is not in slow motion. Shalom, everybody. Alright, 1 second. Alright, Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, before we get started, we're gonna say all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Salutations to the Lord's elect, the hopeful elect. The 1/3. This is Brother Barak.
This is what's up.
We're gonna be doing a camp.
You know, last week ESAUS was messing with our live with our
the whole video
I
in slow mo.
The whole video past the 60-minute mark was in slow motion. Right when we started breaking down the mark and talking about what ESAU Edom was. So that's just a sign out here that this is getting more and more real. You know, ESAU is trying to put a stop to us and muzzle the ox, but you can't do that. It's only gonna cause us to come out here more and preach His gospel.
I'm gonna grab that KJV.
Yeah. I'll grab.
I got precepts.
Here. No, have it.
No.
Apocrypha.
Yeah.
So I got the first one.
We're gonna be talking about various different topics. One in particular is that bill that was just passed.
It just got passed. Alligator Alcatraz, you know, which is not far from where we live currently because we're right near the Everglades. So, you know, it just flooded the other day, and I was watching some videos, and man, you know, this governor in our state, he's such a piece of shit. You could just tell that he's just conniving.
I'm gonna try to get some.
Bring out Job 9:24.
1 second. I'm gonna try to get some view. My brightness is very bad.
This brightness here.
No, you're good. It doesn't affect the phone. Yeah. So 1 second.
Get it out. Salakia, Akim, because we have bad service where we're at right now. But actually, speaking of which, I'm in the book of Job right now, so let's see if we can bring it out.
Bring that out.
It's the book of Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked, and he covereth the faces and judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So that's talking about ESAU Edom. You know, the so-called people in our government right now that are ruling, they want to put all these laws and enforcements and put our people into captivity. You know, everywhere you go, they're trying to pass laws and different things to try to, you know, stop us in some way, shape, or form. That's what ESAU wants. He wants full control. Bring it out.
And I got something. It's the book of 2 Thessalonians 2:3. It says, "Let no man deceive you by any means. For that day shall not come except there be come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." And who's this? You know, who people are starting to see, man. You know, the people that are waking up, they're starting to see that ESAU Edom, the so-called white man, not all white people, but you know, many, especially the ones in our government. You know, these people are actually wicked, man.
Because these are the same people, the government. Like you were saying, you know, Mexicans for Trump, pushing out this propaganda.
And then they fucking deported you, man.
And then a couple of months later, that was only in last year. A couple of months later, now they're deporting your people back, and they're silent about it. They're not talking. This is what he had all along, and this is the thing about ESAU. He's a liar. He's a deceiver. You know, Satan, he masquerades himself as an angel of light, and the same thing with ESAU Edom. He acts like he's light. He's gonna help you. He's gonna build the country, make everything better, and then he just stabs you in your back. He doesn't fucking care about you.
And I got another thing to bring out. This book of Matthew 24:22. It says, "If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive, but for the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened." So what's happening?
Bring it out louder again. This is a lot of.
Yeah. Yep. 1 second. My fucking Salakiak. If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive, but for the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened. And what's happening right now? Things are speeding up. We're starting to see things speed up with, things happening. Now that we thought the chip, people were saying that there's not going to be a chip for another 25 years or whatever, or another 1,000 years. And then what the fuck is happening? Now the Neuralink is out. Now by 2028, they want to get into people. Could be earlier than that.
Me and the brother last week, where we saw a Neuralink video talking about how there's a summer, what is it, the update, Neuralink update.
Yeah.
And they already have 10 people that they have publicly stated that they're studying on right now.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time. I saw some quote about Donald Trump talking about how he wanted to have a biometric tracking.
Yeah, so
back in 2017.
So they did a Neuralink presentation with Elon Musk, and what happened was this fucking guy was saying he's gonna completely cure blindness, completely target the people's like frontal lobe of the brain. They want control, man, and that's the thing, bro. Satan masquerades himself as an angel of light, so
I just had that precept, that's spirit.
Yeah, right, spiritual. So what happens is, this guy's coming in, and the crazy thing is that while he was doing the presentation in the room, like, everybody was just clapping for this guy. Like, what are you doing?
These people are fucking evil. And
just make sure this is okay.
This is the book of Thessalonians. Did you bring this? Let no man deceive you. Bring that out already?
Yeah, I brought that out.
You brought that out. Okay. Bring out. Be not say. This is the book of John 4:1. It says, "Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits, whether they are of Yahweh, because many false prophets are gone out into the world." So these people, they're false prophets. They're preaching false doctrine. They're lying to you. They're deceiving you. Don't test every spirit that comes by. And even these people that say they're in the so-called truth, man. You got to test their spirit. You'll know them by their fruits, man. But this fucking president that we have, this motherfucker, he's out here. One day he's being friends with you, the next day he's deporting you back. One day he's all nice, the next day he's arresting you. And this is happening with Northern Kingdom right now, but it's only a matter of time till it happens with Southern Kingdom, because they were just talking about Levite. They didn't have some certain
they sent Levi back too.
They're gonna send them back too. They don't fucking care about you.
They got alligator Alcatraz now. So you're 50 miles from anything else. Just swamp, and it's a fucking prison.
And they were boasting about how if you try to escape, then you're gonna get killed by an alligator. Ultimately, the Lord, He decides whether that person gets killed or not. If you were one of the elect and that happened to you, He would protect you.
Yeah.
He would make sure you're taken care of. But ultimately, Esau, he's already boasting. It has been. They just built this fucking thing, and they're already boasting.
Because this is what this man does. What does it say? The pride of thy heart has deceived thee. Right? So what happens is he tells people what he's gonna do before he even does it, knowing that that's not even in his will. That might not be the Lord's will, So this man Esau Edom, he'll tell people he's gonna do something, and then either he does it or it doesn't happen. And then if it doesn't happen, he fucking loses his mind, So
this is the book of Obadiah 1:3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee,
Yep.
Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, and saith in his heart, Who shall bring me down to the ground? So this guy thinks he's fucking unstoppable, but he's not.
This man, he came from a fucking rock, man.
He came from a rock, and he wants to just muzzle people. That's his whole goal and plan. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't want to see you grow. He doesn't care about our people.
This is the book of Proverbs 1:24, and it says, "Because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. But ye have set at not all my counsel, and would none of my reproof." So yeah, man, we're calling on people, man, and those that take heed, they're gonna take heed. But that's it.
Yeah, because people walk by, people see our videos. They have the choice whether they want to skip or whether they want to continue to listen to us and hear what we have to say, man. We're going out here, we're doing the work, and if the Lord's dealing with their spirit, He'll compel them to come in and hear this gospel, this good message. But if not, then so be it. They're going to get destroyed ultimately.
Yeah.
Because what does it say? Everybody's going to be able to hear this word in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
You know? This is the book of Ephesians 6 and 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So wherever you go, you're going to have spirits that are going to try you, man. These demons that are just, you know, walking around everywhere, you know, seeking who they could just start fucking with, man. And the same thing goes for the people that are in our government trying to rule over. They don't care, man.
Right
They're
now,
spirits.
in this place, we're at the bottom.
We're at the bottom.
You know, but in the kingdom, we're gonna be on top.
We're gonna be at the top, but it's only for a short amount of time. While we're here, we're gonna be muzzled, man. They're gonna try to bring us into a lower state. You know. Just trying to take a look and see what some guys doing. You know, you got another precept? You should have one. Back it up. You know. And you gotta stop.
So this is the book of Mark 4:19. It says, "But the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches and the lust of other things entering in choke the word, and it become unfruitful," like what you were talking about yesterday. You know, Jake's so caught up in the cares of in this place, trying to build up in Esau's kingdom. It's not possible.
It's like you fear man, you fear your government, you fear your boss, you fear your fucking woman more than you fear the Lord, man. Okay, doesn't it say fear that man who can kill, fear the one who can kill not just the body, but who can kill the soul and the body? You know, ultimately the Lord has the full power to do whatever he wants, and you got to have the most fear with him. You can't be like putting your trust in Esau. You good? Okay. So like you know, you can't be putting
an angel.
Could have been an angel, yeah.
Oh yeah, white woolly hair.
You can't be putting your trust in Esau, because a lot of these Jakes, I see them wanting to do these land initiatives. You know, I've seen it many times before. They think that they're gonna get all their people and build up and invest in some land and have a homestead, and everybody's gonna be happy forever after. We're in Jacob's trouble. That shit's gonna get destroyed, man. If Esau even finds out a little bit of that, he just send one of his puppets over there. You know, one of his people to just say, you know, you can't do that here. That's illegal. Well, how? What do you mean? No, because I said it's illegal. You know, it's funny because where we live, this place was surrounded by nature before. Just a little side note. This place was surrounded by nature, protected land. You know, they had the endangered panthers and whatnot. And this motherfucker that owns this county here, he has connections with the government, with everything. He bought out all the land for pennies. So he chooses who he wants to delegate the land to, and he chooses what he wants to do with it. And that same land that it's apparently it's illegal to bulldoze a specific tree because it helps with our ecosystem. Guess what? When he does it, nobody says anything, because he'll just trade land. He'll buy more protected land and then just end up destroying it later down the line. So he chooses what he wants to do. He's not going to let you go and do some sort of land initiative and get together and gather all the Israelites together and kumbaya.
Yeah.
That doesn't work like that. It's not going to happen here. The earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. It says that clear in the scriptures.
And the book of Amos 3:3, it says, "Two or more can walk together unless they be agreed." So when you're having these like initiatives and you bring in all these random people in,
random camps,
camps,
you see like they're doing like a nationwide fast.
People don't even. Some people, they want to do a land initiative with the fucking Muslim people, Nation of Islam. These random people just. We're not even on the same page.
You're on completely different doctrines. These people would murder you if they had the chance for preaching this gospel, and you want to fellowship with them and hold hands.
That's the thing, man.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. And these other camps, man. You know, I had this one guy. You know, it was a guy from I believe SOY, soy. I don't know what it was. He was a camp, and he was coming on my page talking about how the mark of the beast is loving sin, and who can instill the mark. Are you kidding me right now? And I rebuked him. I said, you know what? You're going off. If your camp's teaching that, you're going off. And I'm not afraid to say it, man. If you're one of these people that are going off and preaching something that the mark is other than the RFID microchip, you're going off. Okay? Yeah. That fucking angers me, man. Because you're leading the flock astray. Okay? And I tell this guy, all these camps are on completely different doctrines. Some of them calling on completely different names. And you want to gather together with them and do nationwide fast and do land initiatives. You know, what the fuck are you doing? You're not wise at all right now, going around with your fringes. I mean, just the other day I saw, I believe it was Wi-Fi or something like that. They were going in front of the White House yelling DTA. DTA, you're putting a fucking target on our backs. Okay? Now we're gonna have a target, an unnecessary target on our backs because you fuckers chose to not keep your mouth shut and not be wise. You want to go around and just start parading like fucking retards.
Yeah.
Okay? Not wise. It says, be therefore wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. Therefore I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. You're cunning. You're acting like a serpent. You're moving, you're swift. You need to get out of a situation when you know it's in danger. Don't put yourself in danger. You're standing right outside ESAUS Capitol, yelling something that's gonna put you in lots of trouble. Lots of unnecessary trouble.
Yeah, man.
Okay?
Drake doing these fucking parades.
Parades where you're marching like these kings in a horse. Bringing a horse to the Passover, which is unclean. Unclean thing to do. You're in your garments, your special garments. Didn't Yahweh Shai ride on a donkey? Okay? You want to act like this is the kingdom right now, bro. No, it's not the case, man.
The dude's trying to build up in this fucking place,
You
man.
can't build up here.
This place is fucking horseshit.
Okay, this is horseshit.
This is horseshit, man.
You can't do nothing that you want to do, man.
You can't even do, like, you could do things that were fun back in the day, but you can't do anything fun anymore, you know? And you can't, there's nothing to do. Hey, this place is perverted, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Bring out Revelation. Everybody is drinking from the cup.
Yeah.
Get that precept out for me. I'm going to bring out something right now. Because ultimately this land is defiled, and while you're here, there isn't going to be no unity with all the Israelites here, man. The Lord's only dealing with the elect. Okay, and while we're here, we're not going to go out and be all macho and try to get a bunch of money and build a big kingdom here and walk around with our chest puffed up and all these fancy garments with shiny gold, and riding in on a horse. Like, a lot of you guys think it's some game, man.
Because my phone's overheating, I'm going to bring this out, though. It says, okay, Jeremiah 51:7. And it says, wait, hold up. Babylon was a gold cup in the Lord's hand. She made the whole earth drunk. The nations drank her wine, therefore they have now gone mad.
Yeah, let's go in the shade, because you're in the sun right now, and my phone's overheating too, so bring the tripod to the shade before the shower.
All right.
We gotta wait for ourselves to cool down. So lucky, guys. It's like 90 degrees out right now.
I'm gonna still bring this stuff out. I'm not gonna use this.
We're gonna try to move a little bit more in the shade right now because our phones are overheating. It's very hot out today.
Okay, keep going.
Bring out the Revelation verse, about everybody drinking from the cup of Babylon.
No, I just brought that out.
Jeremiah. Babylon's fallen. Babylon's fallen. Every hateful bird.
Let's see.
But this is the book of Leviticus 18 and 25, and have that precept to back me up right after, okay? This is the book of Leviticus 18 and 25, okay? And the land is defiled, therefore I do visit the iniquity thereof upon it, and the land itself vomited out of her inhabitants. So this place is fucking screwed, man. There's spraying GMO chemicals everywhere. The water's polluted. The air's polluted. I mean, you can't even pay. You got to pay $4 or $5 for a glass bottle of spring water. If you get regular spring water, it's $3 and it's in the BPA plastic, man.
Yeah.
And you think this guy cares about you? You think he wants to make this place better again? Are you fucking stupid? Honestly, are you fucking stupid? He lies. He's a deceiver. Doesn't it say, be not ignorant to Satan's devices? Okay? He's the master with the sword.
Not only that, what you were saying, but like, Esau could literally get a food and call it organic, and it be sprayed with.
It can be sprayed with other stuff
that's
that's deemed organic, but in reality is full of shit and chemicals. But bring that out. You have that precept. Bring it out.
Yeah, it says Revelation 18.
A little louder.
This book of Revelation 18. It says, okay. After these things, I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was illuminated with his glory. And he cried mightily with a loud voice, Babylon the Great is fallen. It's fallen and has become a dwelling place of demons, a prison for every foul spirit, and a cage for every unclean, hated bird. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her.
So you can't run from this perversion that Babylon has caused. Everywhere you go, you can even leave, and it might be a little better somewhere else, but you're still going to have residues of Babylon.
Everybody want to be like America. Everybody want to take on their language. Everybody want to, everybody want to act and dance like fucking Americans and talk like them, and you know you cannot escape this fucking devil Esau, man.
You know, and he
the only time we're gonna be able to, you know, escape this man is when we're in the kingdom, and that's when he's gonna be a slave.
You know, and he deceives. He knows how to deceive. He makes his place seem like it's grand and mighty, like it's the land of opportunity. So people from the outside are looking in and wishing, they're begging to come in. You know, I was talking to a so-called Manassarite, you know, from Cuba, and he was crying to me, telling me how much he loves this country and how terrible it was where he lived. And you know, these other people, they're coming from places that are even worse in some cases. You know, maybe not as defiled, but they don't have food, they don't got proper water. But it's the same thing when they come here.
But here's the thing, though.
It's
gonna be good for a short time. For them, it might be perceived as good, but when these famines hit, which are biblical, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, they're gonna really feel the squeeze, man.
They're gonna feel the fucking squeeze.
Okay, when they can't go to the store, they can't go to the market. Everything's wiped out. People are on their last can. If somebody smells something or sees that you have a can, they will fucking kill you for it.
I was tripping earlier because I didn't even have no water. And that was only for a couple hours, right? So clean water. Now imagine how it's gonna be when you know you have fucking no water, no food for days.
You're gonna see people drinking out of murky puddles with mosquitoes. They're gonna become desperate.
And people are gonna be making mosquito patties, you know, like
that's Jacob's trouble for you,
yep.
And it's coming very soon. Esau Edom is creating everything in order to make the perfect recipe for disaster and to crash things, man.
You see these birds around. People are gonna be trying to hunt the birds.
Hunt the birds.
You know. This place has to go, man.
And you know, your so-called family members, your so-called friends, your ride or dies, you know, the people that say they've been rocking with you, don't be surprised that they try to kill you, they try to eat you or something. It might sound fucking crazy what we're saying, but this is a plain facts, man, because you don't really know how somebody is until they're tested.
As the scriptures say, you know, scriptures talk about that there's gonna be enemies in their own household.
Enemies in their own household, yeah, con.
So what's gonna happen, man? You know, people are gonna try to, your own family member gonna try to kill you, try to set you up. We've already seen that in the green tree.
But most of all, the real enemy is Esau Edom.
Yeah.
You know, the so-called white man. Not every white man, but the so-called white man. Okay, the red man. And you'll know them by their spirit. You know, they have a hatred towards our own people. They're always trying to put them. They look at us as we're inferior. They walk around with their chest popped up. They're all prideful. You'll know that's an Edomite right there. Donald Trump, Caesar Nero, an Edomite.
Especially if, you know, this man, he's always talking about hunting. And
Elon Musk, an Edomite. I mean,
how much this man's killed, how many animals.
The governor in our state was he was so fucking excited, man. He was so aroused at the fact that all these immigrants were going to be put here and they had no way of escaping, and if they tried to, they were going to die from getting eaten by alligators. They're already thinking in this prideful manner. They're just excited about that. Like almost like when you're a child and you open up a new toy.
Yeah.
Your parents buy you a new toy. You're excited. You're ecstatic. This fucking guy was ecstatic about putting people into captivity, in cages.
And this man, he's so obsessed with just having his own society with just his own people.
Yeah.
You know, where they're gonna be isolated, and you know, in the kingdom, they're gonna be isolated on those fucking farms. You know, they're gonna be fucking, you know, in the field all fucking day, and we're gonna make this man eat dirt.
Yep. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus 12:10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
Yeah.
So you know, this guy rusted away. You can't trust him. He's not firm. He's not a firm foundation. It's not like iron, or what do they call that? That metal that never rusts.
I don't know what you're talking
about. It's not a good solid metal. It's not like gold, man. This guy is just like a rusty fucking piece of scrap metal.
Or stainless steel.
He's not stainless steel, man. This guy is the rust that you find in the back of a fucking
old backyard.
Old metal lot, old scrap yard. He's a scrap.
You keep him around for too long, what's gonna happen?
He's gonna rust. He's gonna show himself. Trust me. For all you Israelites, man, out there that want to keep Esau like this, buddy, because now you told him about the truth, and he realizes that he's going to be put into captivity, so he's like, well, I can graft on, right? And you're telling him, yeah? You're going off yourself, man. You know, a lot of you on that fucking Uncle Ruckus spirit, man.
The scriptures talk about how the Gentiles, which is actually speaking to the Israelite foreigners, the Gentiles who were actually Israelites, they just look like the Gentiles, you know, because, you know, that's the thing. Jake, he spread his seed everywhere, and people don't want to admit that.
But these
people
other
are
nations
stuck up on that doctrine,
black-only
man.
doctrine. But these people that want to keep Esau close and be buddy with them, you know, wasn't it a couple of 100 years ago? It wasn't too long, and it's still happening till this day in other parts of the world that we don't see about. Okay, he put you in slavery. Okay, he raped, he robbed, he murdered your people, he stole your land, he did every egregious, abominable thing known to man, and now he wants to be all buddy with you and act like the fucking victim. And we're supposed to have remorse? What does it say in the book of Romans? Bring that up. Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. Is your phone out? Check it.
If not, you can give me your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bugging out.
For as it is written, it's the book of Romans 9 and 13. For as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What does that say? Hated. Okay? He loves our people. He loves our own. The ones that are sincere. The ones that are the remnant, man. The elect. He loves them. But to these other nations, he doesn't love them. Okay? The Christian church and all these other false congregations and you know, different denominations try to teach you that everybody has the gift of salvation. Okay? No. Only the Israelites. Okay? And that's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow, but the truth is the truth. What does this say? It talks about the scriptures. In my belly, the word was like honey, but then it caused it to be bitter.
And the heathens, what we're going to do with them is we're going to have them as servants. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have them as servants. Like the scripture talks about Moab is my washpot.
Yeah.
You know, Moab is going to, you know.
Let me describe how Moab is even today.
Yeah, Moab is, the scriptures talk about, we have heard the pride of Moab and his haughtiness. So
yeah.
This man is also prideful.
It's not just Esau, it's just Moab too. They work hand in hand. I mean, Moab is they're very good at technology, you know. Same thing with Esau. Esau's mastered the sword. The sword doesn't just mean weapons, it means technological things like AI and such, you know. Certain mass manipulation tools like EMF, you know, radiation, 5G. He's mastered that. Same thing with Moab. I mean, look at China. Look at these other nations right now. They have everybody in a fucking chokehold. Watch every single time. And that's what's going to happen very soon when that mark of the beast gets implemented, which we will bring out later, Lord willing. Okay, but this is the book of Revelation 10 and 10. And I took out the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up. And it was sweet in my mouth as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. So, you know, these scriptures, they can be bitter sometimes, man. It's a stone cold truth.
Well, people come in this thing. They realize they're an Israelite, you know, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and the Israelite foreigners who will look like the heathen. And they realize, oh, it's a great thing that you're a part of this truth. But then you're going to have tailor-made burdens. You're going to be fucking always bothered by Esau.
When you realize
especially when you're in this truth, things start ramping up for you.
When you realize you
Esau bothers you even more.
Give up certain things that you once had that you can't do anymore. You know, it could be anything. It could be a specific woman. It could be drinking too much. Everybody has their own, you know, their own vices. But the point of the matter is this is this truth. And if you really want to follow this, you have to bear your cross. Bear your cross. Okay? I want to bring this out. Bring out another precept if you have one. Get one ready to back me up. Or just to jump to something else. But this is the book of Hebrews 4 and 12. The word of Yahweh is quick, powerful, and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing and dividing asunder of soul and spirit. Okay, and it's continuing to load. I believe it continues to say, and discerning the thoughts and intentions of the heart. I'm roughly paraphrasing because it doesn't. Let me open up this fully. Esau's messing up with my service. But you know that goes that these scriptures, they cut Esau up. He can do whatever he can to manipulate us and to try to just vex us. But when you bring out these scriptures, man, it cuts him up. That's the best weapon to fight this piece of shit, man.
And the thing is, this guy, he's a friend for his own occasion, you know. And I'm gonna bring this out. It's the book of Ecclesiasticus 35, you know, chapter 37. It says, "Every friend saith, I'm his friend also, but there's a friend which is only a friend in name."
So he's only a friend for an occasion. I mean, we knew a guy that before we knew about how Esau was, you know, it was ultimately the Lord showing us. You know, it wouldn't have happened if it didn't happen like this, but we took good care of this guy, you know, and then...
But he was a friend for his own occasion.
He was a friend for his own occasion. He wanted to come here. He wanted to find a place to put his feet down. We helped this guy immensely. The Lord sees it at the end of the day. The Lord sees we had mercy. And this man, let me tell you, man, dirty, rusty piece of shit individual, man. I'll say it again and again. The guy is a dirtbag, man. Okay? And this guy wants to go around and start leading congregations now, leading Israelites, trying to teach them. Your fucking same forefathers were the ones that did egregious things. And you even hinted to it.
Wickedness,
Fuck you,
man.
Shalak Rayam Shabbat on you, man.
Yeah.
Fuck you. And we're not supposed to be all nice and buddy-buddy with these people, man. If we see them in public, we're not going to go curse them out. We're not going to go start fights with them. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. But guess what? Mightily through the power of Yahweh for pulling down strongholds.
And the scriptures talk about, people like to bring out that scripture of thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, but that was actually, there was a clinical error in the Strongs, and it actually translated to Assyrian, I believe. People always say, oh, we're not supposed to talk about Esau like that.
Or same thing with so for God loved the whole world. That was eating the cosmos.
Yeah.
Speaking about the Israelites, the brother Shalah has that exact definition, and he knows that. But the point of the matter is we're not supposed to be buddy-buddy with these people. You can't trust them. They're gonna rust. Okay? They're terrible people. We'll say it time and time again. These are terrible people. These are egregious people. Okay, and our people need to know about that, because otherwise they're going to be manipulated and deceived, and then when that mark gets put into place, they're going to take it because they didn't know any better. They didn't know any better. And what is that mark that you speak of? Because we're going to repeat it time and time again, because there's a lot of camps out there that are preaching the wrong doctrine. Okay, that the mark is loving sin, that the mark is not keeping all the laws. Okay, that the mark is not keeping the Sabbath.
And I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen to these fucking people, man. So this is the book of Ecclesiasticus.
A little louder, man.
Ecclesiasticus 40, I believe, chapter 40, verse 9. It says, death, bloodshed, strife, sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. So what's gonna happen to these fucking people, man?
Gonna break down the mark wrong.
Death, famine, they're gonna, during Jacob's trouble, which is gonna be a time of the end of the world, we're gonna see all these things happen to people. But for the elect, the elect is gonna be considered a hiding place, for the people who are sincere about this truth, man.
And I wanted to bring out one precept and then jump right into Revelation and breaking down the mark. But this is just to conclude another verse. Okay, another verse that talks about Esau. It's the book of Malachi 1 and 2. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Saith the Lord, yet I loved Jacob and hated Esau, and laid his mountains and heritage a waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
Yeah, so the Lord fucking hates you.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no arguing with the scriptures. Now, these people, they don't like to bring that out.
You will never see no pastor bring that out, ever. They don't. We don't have to read the Old Testament. But then no, they bring out the Psalms when they want to. They bring out what pleases them, what's convenient to them.
Yeah, the scriptures talk about, in the book of Isaiah, I believe it says, tell us sweet things you want to hear.
Yeah. Tell us sweet things.
You want to pull that out?
Yep, I'm going to bring that out. Because you'll never see him talking about this. And that's why he perverts the Bible. And I even saw an Edomite pastor that was in my area. For some reason, the sponsored post showed up on my social media. And I'm like, look at this bitch. Look at this bitch trying to go out and teach, okay? And lead people. This white Edomite bitch, okay? And I said it like that.
Yeah,
you're going around trying to lead men? Are you fucking kidding me?
These guys will bring out, always talk about, actually, you want to bring that out first?
What?
Tell us sweet things.
I am bringing it out right now.
Yeah. Because your pastor doesn't give two fucks about you. He just wants your money.
He just wants your money.
That bag.
Okay, you're going around week in, week out, okay? Listening to this fool talk. Preaching you wrong doctrine is going to bring you into a pit of destruction, okay? I don't got any service right now. Let me see. Okay. This is the book of Isaiah 30 and 10. Which say to the seers, see not, and the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smoothly things, prophesy deceits. So this devil these devilish pastors, man, these Edomite pastors, and don't get me wrong, there are Jake pastors too in these churches. The 2819 church, that guy's a Jake. TD Jakes, these guys, you know, these guys do the same thing. They want your money, okay?
It's a fucking performance, man.
It's a performance show. It's an
It's
entertainment.
bread and circus. You know, you got you put in zip lines, putting on the nice
Smoke
lights.
screens. When did the Lord, when did Yahweh Shai and his 12 apostles, when did they come around with smoke screens?
They put it on
and
like,
zip lines.
movie theater seats.
Okay.
You know, like to make you feel all comfortable.
No, what does it say? Go out on the highways and hedges
yeah.
and compel those to come in.
Yeah.
Go out and do the work. Give up your body as a living sacrifice, okay? Not going and sitting on some nice little comfy chair and watching this worship performance. Then pastor brings out one or two verses, rambles, okay, talks about profane and vain babblings, breaks things down wrong, lets you live in sin.
I got it.
Okay, and you keep going back and back and back. All right? Wake up, Jake. Wake up. Ridiculous, man. You know, it angers me. And you know what? You don't like the way we're talking? Get the fuck off our page. I don't give a shit. Okay?
Because these people, these mockers and scoffers, I mean, they
Oh,
know
you're
what we're
being too
saying.
much.
They know what we're saying is true because they come back and they watch and they listen.
But they want to come in.
Everything we bring out is biblical and scriptural.
They want to bring out things that, you know, just to talk and scoff and mock.
Random ass fucking
why do you have to
doctrines.
curse? Why do you have to speak this way? You know what? Didn't it say, therefore I be rude in speech?
Yeah.
Okay? Jake needs to hear it in the harsh way. Or else they're not going to wake up their stiff-necked people. Okay? And there's a time and a place for everything. But you know what? I'm upset right now, man. I'm upset when I see people breaking down the mark wrong. I'm upset when I see that we're living in this defiled ass land. I'm upset when I see Esau Edom trying to rule over us any chance he gets with his chest popped up. I have a reason to be, okay? I have a reason to be, and I pray, man, the Lord brings us back, man. Brings us to Him, bro. Because this place is terrible. All right. People driving on slow when we're doing camp, man. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You know. What's this guy doing?
Alright, you want to continue?
Yeah. Let's see, Book of Revelation.
That's many men crept in unawares right there.
Yeah, many men crept in unawares. They stopped by, probably
trying to
recording
record,
us.
you know, get the
I mean, I
fuck
believe
outta
they're
here, man.
parking right now. Let's see, they're parking. So
Alright, and you don't just stop by like that.
just stopping by and just laughing at us.
You don't just
pointing the fucking phone. Hold on, stop a second. Wait, I gotta take a video. Man.
The thing is, man, we what's it called? We warned you. You know, like that scripture I brought up before. You know, we stretched out our hand to come fucking warn you, Jake. And you want to fucking
phone in our face
you want to fucking
laugh
record
and
us?
scoff at us. That's the spirit right there. Because we were just talking about mockers and scoffers, and lo and behold, a car pulls by, stops right in front of us, and probably
right,
I'm gonna
and it's not
was taking the phone.
hey, so what happened was the car comes back right where I'm like a couple feet where I'm standing, sits there for like a minute straight, doesn't fucking move. And this place has really, like, why are you in this particular parking lot? There's just a couple of spots. You know, you can just park your car. You don't got to do all that.
You know, but they wanted to scoff and laugh. Oh, look at them, they're in their garments, ha ha ha. Just like these other scoffers out there with no work at all. No work, they're not doing jack shit, and they just want to talk,
and,
man.
And go ahead, fucking post us, you
post
know?
us, you know?
What
we're
was
gonna
gonna
still
happen?
be back out here. We're gonna still be back out here preaching the gospel and doing the work.
Yeah.
We don't fucking care about what you have to say, okay? We don't care about you. You know, matter of fact, fuck you. And if you were doing that, shalak rayam on you people, man. We ain't playing around here. Oh,
yeah,
move in love. Yeah, move in love. If you love me, keep my commandments. Okay? Those that really truly love the Lord, man, they're gonna keep His commandments. They're gonna love thy brother. They're gonna be sincere. They're not just gonna be talking about it, putting on an act for everybody to see like they're this holy and mighty person, and then behind closed doors, they're acting completely different. Okay? That's it. That's it, man. It's the book of Hosea 4 and 6. my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt not be no priest to me, seeing that thou hast forgotten thy law of Yahweh. I will also forget thy children. So you know what? They want to just, they're going to be destroyed. If they don't repent, they're going to be destroyed. If these people were out here actually recording us, because there's no other place in this, this parking lot's wide open. They chose to stop right there, right in front of our camp, and disrupt our camp.
Yeah, the scriptures talk about mockers,
and scoffers.
You know, people like Vocab Malone. You know, go ahead, mock and scoff us. You know, we told you about this truth. We warned you.
We warned you. And what does it talk? The blood's not on our hands. I'm gonna bring that out in a moment. Okay. Let's see. There's a precept that comes to my mind. I'm gonna bring out. Yeah. This is a book of Peter. 2 Peter 3:3-4. Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lust, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. So they're after their own lust, these people. They're celebrating the 4th of July, okay? They're going, they're having their cookout, their little cookouts with their family members. They talk shit about them.
They say things like, you know, they say Jesus that happened so long ago. He ain't coming back till another 1,000 years. You know, he's not coming back right now. You know, and that's the thing, man. Yahweh Shai, which is the true and proper name of so-called Jesus Christ, was actually Yahweh Shai, his son. You know, he's coming.
He's coming very soon. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai being the name of the only begotten Son, who the world calls Jesus Christ, okay? Not believing in no Guadalupe, Virgin Mary, all these saints, okay? They're not going to get you into salvation. It's only through Yahweh Shai, okay? And I have some precepts to back up, because there were some really good precepts that I found here, man. That's just a spirit right there, man. You know, people, they mock and scoff us, and through that, more precepts come, and we can bring them out.
Yeah.
And that's what Yahweh Shai for that.
You got little kids, you know, coming out, kicking out soccer balls in front of you. You know, driving their car.
Trying to distract.
Yeah, playing music.
This is the book of Acts 4:1. Behold, ye despisers, and wonder and perish. For I work a work in your days, a work which ye shall in no wise believe, though a man declare it unto you. So we're declaring it unto the people. We're coming out here on the highways and byways. There's people on the opposite side of the camera that are seeing right now. There's hundreds of cars that have passed by, you know, and there's you know, maybe 40, 50 people have passed by during this camp.
Yep.
Okay, so we're not in the back of an area where no one's around. People see us. If they want to, they're going to come up to us.
Yeah.
But instead, they choose to just ride their cars. And
I saw like
stuff.
10 Southern Kingdom Jakes just drive their bike right in front of us.
We declared it onto them.
They have the opportunity to hearken onto this word.
Oh, yes.
You know?
That's cool, man.
And that's the spirit right there, you know?
Right there.
Yes, sir. Alright, let's keep going.
And this is the book of Jude 1:8. What's up, guys? This is the book of Jude 1:18. Now that they told you there should be mockers in the last days who will walk after their own ungodly lust. So these people, they don't give a fuck. They only care about their own worldly lust, man. These carnal things, the car, the woman, the money.
Hey, but America's gonna get fucking destroyed.
America's gonna get destroyed.
It's gonna get destroyed by a nuclear missile.
Ultimately, it's all vanity at the end of the day. You know, it's all vanity. And why go around and keep pushing and putting so much emphasis on this? And ultimately, this place is gonna get teared into a fucking shred.
100 million nuclear missiles.
Nukes are gonna destroy this place.
It's gonna be like something you never seen before. Something that never happened. Yeah, that's the spirit right there.
And you know, they walked by. They could have chose to stop and listen. You know, but we warned them. They heard that. You know, they heard that. And let's see, blood is not on our hands. No. It's the book of Matthew 7:24. Actually, no, Ezekiel. This is the book of Ezekiel. Yeah, this is it. Ezekiel 3:18. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt not surely die, and thou grievest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked ways, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but the blood I will require at thine hand. So, you know, don't be like one of those people keeping your talents hidden in a napkin. Okay, each one of you guys, an able-bodied that can go out, understands these precepts enough to preach, can go out and preach and wake people up so the blood is not on your hands. Because if you just stood there and stayed silent, then you know what? The blood's going to be on your hands because you could have had the chance to have people repent.
I believe the scriptures talk about we have to be like a good example, right? I'm roughly paraphrasing here, but it does speak about things like that. So, you know, if you're able-bodied, you know, or you look good, or you look whatever, right? You know, you got to use that to your gifts and talents to your advantage. You know, continue to wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You know?
And I have a precept. This is the book of 1 Timothy 4:2 to back you up.
Yeah.
Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers in word and conversation and charity and spirit and faith and purity.
And I believe the book of Ecclesiastes talks about, you know, remember thy Creator in the days of thy youth, right? So, you know, if you're a young fella, you're one of these young brothers watching, you know, we're quite young as well. You know, we're gonna spend these years, you know, seeking Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you know, and the Lord, because the Lord has a promise for us, you know. The cares of this world, they don't even fucking matter. You know?
Yeah, they don't. What is that gonna get you? You're gonna die and everything will be left for somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you preach this gospel and you really cared, the heavens, the riches in heavens are gonna be marvelous.
Yeah.
It's gonna be something you would never imagine. Doesn't it say in the book of John, my Father's house has prepared mansions upon mansions?
Yeah.
Okay? And why do you care about this fucking car, man, that breaks down and rusts, this house that could just be knocked over in a storm? Okay? Or your family that comes and goes, you know?
Because your family, a lot of people's family, I'm almost certain, you know, most of your people's family, they're not seeking Yahweh Shem Yahushai.
Let the dead bury the dead.
You know, they don't give a fuck.
Tell them a couple of times, if they don't care, then that's it. Just wipe the dust off your feet and keep it moving, man. Talks about that in Titus, you know, warn a person once, twice, and then have nothing to do with them. But, you know, two more precepts. Matthew 5:16, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works, which glorify your Father which is in heaven. So the works that you're doing right now, they're not going unseen by the Heavenly Father. He sees it all. You know, he sees every single word that comes out of your mouth when you're out here doing the work, doing the lesson. So don't think because you got one view on your video, you know, you got 1 or 2 views, you know, and nobody sees it or nobody comments or nobody likes it. Doesn't
Esau hides that number.
The Lord sees it, man.
Yeah.
The one and only Yahweh Shem Yahushai sees it. Okay, that's all that matters. At the end of the day, if He approves of it, that's all that matters.
What happens is one of the worst things you can do is, you know, try to seek to please man, right? And a lot of dudes be doing that for their work, trying to get a $2 raise. So they're trying to seek approval, get that online approval.
You trim your ways your whole life just to get a $2 raise. You worked at the company for 5-6 years, and they fire you in an instant.
A motherfucker work at Burger King for 40 years and fucking gets a $10 gift card, you know?
Fuck out of here, man.
Because I have to be loyal.
Ridiculous.
No, you have to be loyal to Yahweh Shem Yahushai.
Loyal to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. He can give you so much. It's incomprehensible. You can't even think about how much He can give you. You gotta believe that and have faith. Hebrews 11:1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So although right now we don't see with our own eyes mansions upon mansions, heavenly riches, we gotta have faith and believe
and
that.
Even the kingdom, the air is gonna feel different.
Oh,
you know,
it's gonna be amazing.
You know, you're gonna actually be able to see the sunlight, whatever.
You're not gonna get headaches anymore.
No fucking.
You're gonna be able to breathe without clogs in your nose. Drink clean. I can't even imagine how good the wine's gonna be.
You're gonna be able to sleep.
The water, the wine,
you're gonna be able to sleep.
Fruit.
You know, the women are not gonna be defiled. You know,
They're not gonna be barking back.
They're gonna be all, you know, undefiled virgins. You know, they're gonna be, you know. They're gonna be righteous. They're only gonna know you. You know what I'm saying?
Only, you know. You could have many of them too.
Yeah.
You know, for all those people that say, well, what are you talking about? You're not gonna be able to get married in the kingdom. You know, multiple wives. Are you kidding me? Yeah, these people, let them just think.
The scriptures say, you know, a little one shall become 1,000.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna mix our Israelite seed with everybody,
You
man.
gotta store up your treasures in heaven. And I wanted to go back to
And
what I was
Esau
saying.
don't want that. He don't.
Doesn't want that.
Fucking he gets furious when he
He's
sees
furious
us.
when he sees you with his woman producing.
Yeah,
He gets
we
fucking
mixing with
furious.
this woman, all the other nations. You know.
This is the book of Luke 15:7. I say unto you that likewise joy shall be in heaven over one sinner that repenteth, more than over 99 just persons which need no repentance. So the Lord and the angels are enjoyed, man, when they see that one person that might have fucked up in the beginning of their life. They might have done some things that they shouldn't have.
That's because of a testimony, like how Yahushua he healed the blind man. He healed him because of what? Because of his testimony, right? It wasn't just because he was and that man wasn't blind. They asked him, Yahushua, was he blind because of the sins he committed or his parents? But no, it was because of the testimony.
And a little off topic, man, but this was a spirit because I asked questions to ChatGPT, scriptural questions, as well as just general questions with things that I like to do, like farming. Some of my pleasures that I have here, whatever. But I was talking to my cat had these certain motions, and that we're doing a very, very loving cat that I have, and it was a stray. And I guess ChatGPT must have seen my previous questions, and I was asking about the Lord Yahweh, and it actually said, just like your cat came to you, we come to Yahweh as strays when we were abandoned by this world. The world treated us, like shit. We were outcasted. We were looked down on. And Yahweh came to us and he picked us up out of the mud and he polished us and he continues to polish us and he made us into one of his chosen. That's a beautiful thing when you think about it, because we were strays in this world, man. We were running around directionless. We had no purpose here when we didn't know about the Lord.
If you're catching hell, man, that's just one of the signs the Lord's dealing with you. You might see these other guys that they might not be catching anything. They want to be like, oh, everything's good. They got a woman, they got a house, they got they got a PS5 with their woman, and they just be playing games all day.
And the Bella Vita,
They have it all good. Well, maybe the Lord's not fucking dealing with them.
And
you should be grateful that you should be blessed. You're blessed that the Lord's actually dealing with you. He's showing you these things. He's making it hard for you on this side. So in the kingdom, you have it very well. Scriptures talk about how it's better to be in a house of mourning than a house of feasting, right?
Yeah, but just the purpose in and of itself, man, to have the gift, man. Because we work our whole life trying to get these degrees, man, to be riches on this earth, man. And when you get it, what the fuck do you get? Like, honestly, like what you feel good for a moment.
You got a picture on the wall.
You got a picture on the wall. You got some money that could get burned up and it's gone. The banks can just close down. You can lose it all. Okay, but this is a purpose, man. You got to hold on tight to this gift. You can't let it go. This is the true gold at the end of the day. This is the gold, man. This is the rubies.
Yeah.
Okay, this is precious metal. Precious, man. Diamond. Okay, and with that, you don't see everybody around. Every single billions of people on this earth, they don't have diamonds and rubies and precious metals, So they haven't been given that same gift. And it's just the way that it is. The Lord, he's only dealing with a remnant of people. So if you're given that gift, you can't drop the plow and turn your back and look back to this world. Like Lot's wife. Lot's wife, she turned her back and she got turned into stone. And we got to keep moving forward, man. We can't drop the plow. We got to make our calling and election sure.
Yep.
This is the book of 2 Peter 1:10. Wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence and make your calling and election sure. For if ye do these things, ye shall never fall. So the Lord, he said it himself, you're never going to fall. If you make your calling and election sure, you're diligent until the end, you're not going to fall, man. He's going to have your back. And if you do feel like you're falling, he's going to be there with open arms, pick you back up, man. He's going to put the angels around you to encamp it, okay, to protect you.
Yeah.
You're going to be in that Psalm 91 encampment. And if you're not in the Psalm 91 encampment in that shelter, you're going to get fucking destroyed. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
And Jacob's trouble in these times to come, man,
you're not gonna survive these nukes, man. This judgment.
You're not gonna survive this, man. There's no way. This fucking Edomite guy saying he wanted to get a bunker and stay under a bunker.
I said to this guy, I said, you're not gonna be able to survive a nuke. He's like, no, but it's built with this type of metal that's indestructible and some shit like that. I'm like, all right. Let's see about that.
Let's see about that.
And even if you were to survive that nuke, hypothetically, which I don't think you're going to be able to, right? But even if you were to, you're going to be in a fucking hell because it's going to be burning all around you. You're not going to be able to leave. You're going to probably end up offing yourself, you know? And that nuclear radiation is probably just going to seep through. So no matter what the fuck you do, I mean,
good luck.
You're pretty much fucked. In the book of Daniel, I believe, it talks about how those people...
They're running into dwellings and shelters.
Yeah, it talks about the people who are hiding in the clefts of the rock or the caves and you know, aka these bunkers, right? So yeah, man, there's no escaping this judgment. You know, the Lord is a righteous power, and with that, it's gonna come, you know, nuclear destruction.
Yeah, man. But we've been given this knowledge, man. We've searched, we've humbled ourselves enough to understand this gift and this blessing. You can't let it go now. At this time, right now, you're gonna let it go. You can't, man. At that point, man, you're just set up for destruction if you let go now.
Yeah.
You're one of those people that came in only for a short time. You know,
because there's a lot of
and then
people
you
like
withered
that.
away. You're like the flowers that
They
wither
come
away
in, they get a woman, they get the fuck out. You don't never hear.
That's
from them
even
again.
worse. It'd be better for you not to even know anything. You know, than to
Because
know
what
this and then
was
turn
it
your
Paul
back.
who said, "Is for those who have wives better as you had none."
You know.
Right. So you know, you gotta make sure you can't let those things fucking distract you, man. You know.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring this out right now.
All right. Hopefully I'm yeah, it should be good on percent. All right.
I call to remembrance my song in the night. I commune with thine own heart, and my spirit made diligent search. It's the book of Psalms 77 through 6. So, you know, we were diligently searching for that song, man, that sweet song. This is the sweet song, man. This is the beautiful song, that fine melody, man, that vibration, that tone, you know? And when you're diligent and when you're seeking the Lord, man, and you're doing the work that he wants you to do, you're putting in the effort, you're like an acceptable vibration and tune onto him. You want to be that, man. You don't want to be this, you don't want a guitar player that doesn't know what he's doing. He's stringing the strings and he sounds like crap. You know, you're playing the piano and you're just smashing a bunch of keys, or you're just smashing the drums. No, you're a nice sweet melody, man, onto the Lord. You know, you're a pleasing aroma. You know, another example would be a pleasing aroma. You're not smelling, you're not dirty, and that's because you were diligent, you were sincere, you were putting the work. You know, you made your calling and election sure. You know, acceptable unto the Lord. What does it say? Acceptable sacrifice?
Yeah.
I want to bring that out.
We made ourselves a living sacrifice,
Living
right?
sacrifice.
Yeah.
Living.
That's what we're doing. We're on the highways and byways, you know, being accepting ourselves as a sacrifice, you know.
You know, because
A lot of people out here just want to do these.
What's comfortable?
What's comfortable? Yeah.
What's comfortable?
They don't want to get judged, you know. They don't
You
want to
know?
look like a fucking fool.
They don't want to look foolish, you know. But we know that when we come by here, man, we're gonna, no matter what, man, somebody's gonna scoff at us, somebody's gonna mock at us. Whether it's right now or later on, they're gonna say, "Oh, you look at those guys; they were so stupid." But we don't care, man, because we're doing this for the Lord at the end of the day, man.
Yep.
You know.
All right, let's bring that one out.
Okay, this is the book of Romans. Romans 12:1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that ye present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Yahweh, which is your reasonable service. So, this is our duty, man. This is a reasonable service. Like, we should be doing this after everything the Lord's done, for all the grace, mercy, man, the peace that he's given unto us, man, with these scriptures. It's such a vexed, evil, temporal world full of shit.
There was that one rapper, one of Tupac's members in his rap group. I don't know, he was an Israelite, man. He ended up offing himself, you know, because that's what happens, man. You know, you end up just not end up enduring because you don't see any hope for this place. You don't want to end up living anymore.
But he gave us hope. We're prisoners of hope.
We're prisoners of hope, man.
You know, the mercies that he has for us are just.
There's light at the end of
man.
the tunnel, man. It's there. We can see it. We can see it.
He spared us, man.
Yeah.
And you know, he's gonna protect us in this time. If we're sincere, we have faith in that. What does it talk about? Finish the race. I want to bring that on, and then afterwards we're gonna go and we're gonna break down the mark of the beast for those that need to hear it, and then we'll close out. But let's see. run the race. It's the book of and this is because of our doing this as a reasonable service. We got to be diligent. We got to run this race. Okay. And it says, looking on, this is the book of Hebrews 12:2, looking on to Yahweh Shai, the author and finisher of our faith, who is the joy that was set before him, endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of Yahweh. So, we take the shame that these people have shamed us, they've mocked us, they've scoffed at us, but we got to bear our cross. We got to finish this race, man. Okay, diligent. That's key. Diligence, man. Faith. Okay, obedience. And calling upon the true names and proper doctrine. That's the ultimate recipe, man, for the perfect recipe. Those are the ingredients for the perfect recipe. Okay? Very important. Okay, and then this is the book of 2 Timothy 4:7-8. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course, and I have kept the faith. And then we got to keep the faith, man. Keep the faith. All right, we got to finish the race. We're not done until we finish that. We cross that finish line. Okay, we're at the end. Look at.
Okay.
What?
Yeah. So like I was gonna say,
A little louder.
Yeah, man. Just the main thing is you cannot take that MOTB. And that's the most important thing,
Very important.
And we're gonna break that down.
Part of finishing that race is not taking the mark and falling into temptation.
Yeah, because that's the most important thing. The most important thing you want to hear. People say, "Oh, this is the most important thing you're gonna hear in your life."
Keeping all the laws.
No,
keeping
motherfucker.
the Sabbath.
No,
man. It's
following Yahweh Shem Yahushai and not taking that mark. That's the most important thing,
because it's not over until it's over, and you've resisted fully, and you've resisted all the temptations that were brought forth towards you. You've resisted. Okay.
Bring that out so everybody can hear.
Yep. Let me see. Okay, this is the book of Revelation 13:16. And he causeth all, both small, great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, that no man may buy or sell, say he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that had understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of man, and his number is 666. So that mark is talking about the RFID microchip that's going to be instilled very soon. Okay? Either going in the forehead or in the hand.
Yep.
Okay? And that is going to be ESAU's ultimate weapon for control and mass destruction. Okay? That's what he wants. That's what he's been waiting for this whole time. For years he's been planning this, and he's been trying to bring the technology and merge it together so that it's the perfect time to release it and to deceive many.
They got that thing on the dollar bill, New World Order. That's what they want. That's it right there, man.
Ultimate control. Okay, and you're not going to be able to buy or sell if you don't have this mark.
And they're going to create the order out of chaos.
Out of chaos. So this stuff that's going right now,
they're going to create a calamity, and they're going to cause people to get that shit.
Jacob's trouble. This is what's happening in order for that mark to come in.
Yeah.
And it has to be pushed and be mandatory in order for Yahweh Shai to come back. That's prophecy. Okay? The mark has to be put in place.
Yep.
Okay, it has to be being pushed. Or else, that has to happen. Okay, so you have to mention that. The elder apostle Gabar was saying that you have to talk about that. Because these people that want to say that, the world is going to end before the mark of the beast comes, they're lying. They don't know what they're talking about. And that's why it's very important to watch out for these camps that preach anything other than the mark being the RFID microchip, because it is, once again, the RFID microchip, radio frequency identification device, okay, to control and track you. We're going to continue. Okay. Revelation 13:17. And that no man may buy or sell, save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So when you take that mark, you're pledging allegiance to Satan. Okay, you're submitting to him and the ways of this government and order of this so-called evil temporal world, man. You're submitting on to Esau and the beast.
This shows you have a lack of faith.
Lack of faith, because you're going to be tested. There's going to be days where you might not have water or food, and you're going to see those around you are crumbling and taking it, and they're going to put you to the test. But you have to have faith and know that once you take that thing, it's over for you. You're destroyed if you take that thing. And you have to know that, and you have to meditate on that now and prepare yourself. Prepare your mind on the things that are to come. Okay? Being wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, to be able to withstand that temptation. Okay? It says in Revelation 14:9, and the third angel followed them, saying in a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, receive the mark in his forehead or on his hand. Revelation 14:11, it continues to say, I'm actually going to bring that out fully in the full version. And the same shall drink the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So you're going to be tormented, okay? You're going to have fire onto you. You're going to get the ultimate wrath of judgment and destruction if you take that thing, okay? It's no joke, all right? And the smoke of the torment ascended up forever and ever, and they had no rest, day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whoever receiveth the mark of his name. So you're not gonna be able to sleep. You're not gonna have rest. You're gonna be tormented, and this guy is gonna act all nice, and he's gonna be his deceiver and his conniving nature. He always is. If you take this, you're gonna have powers. You're gonna be able to have superhuman capabilities. It's all a fucking lie. Okay? You're gonna get money if you take it. You're gonna be able to get these smart, mind-altering capabilities, and you could have a calculator in your brain, and you could write an essay, and you could do this and that.
Next thing you know, you're gonna be tweaking the fuck out.
Next thing you know, you're gonna be tweaking out like a computer that got thrown in a fucking pool of water.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And you think that he's gonna make you take it, and he's gonna give you the lowest form of it. While the elites have the full version.
You see them videos of people that they're in a pool, and then someone puts a speaker with a plugged in a volt in the pool, and what happens is they get fucking instantly electrocuted. That's what's gonna be like.
What's gonna happen to you?
People,
they
man.
studied this on rats, RFID on rats, and you can see that they started to develop. Their cells started to grow. I'm not gonna say it right now because I don't want YouTube to flag me, but started to grow that were not normal. And the same thing's gonna happen. This guy that they're gonna say, oh, you can heal your paralyzed spine. You could be able to walk. You go to the fucking hospital. Okay, it's $10,000 if you're there for 2 hours. All right. I had a stomach problem. I went there. They put me on IVs and fluids. If I didn't have insurance, I would have paid $10,000. And you think this guy wants to heal your paralyzed? Heal your blindness? He doesn't fucking care about you. Okay? He just wants control. He wants to be able to see you in a database. And that's why you see, wherever you go, there's less cash. They're not accepting cash in certain places. It's going digital.
There's that
your
saying.
passport is going to be digital soon.
There's that saying. Some things are too good to be true, and that's exactly what it's going to be like.
And the same people that were saying, well, the credit cards are never going to be a big thing. Internet's never going to be a big thing.
Same shit about a computer.
Now everybody has a phone right here. They can't even go 5 minutes without
and
their
the craziest thing, Elon Musk in that Neuralink thing, when he started, he says everybody's a cyborg because they have a fucking phone attached to them.
So he knows that right there has to be put in place, because if you just started implementing this
immediately, people will be like, what the
people
fuck?
would withstand it, but you have to bring them closer to it. That's why you see this past year, 2 years, AI has grown tremendously.
Because if you brought it out too quickly, like if you already brought out Terminators and robots and shit, people would be like, what the fuck?
What did they do though? The AI videos that were a little choppy, you could tell now. Like, you gotta really look at it and understand. Like, is that AI?
Now you can't even tell if something's a deep fake.
You can't even tell. And they had this technology forever. When you see the news and you see crazy catastrophic bombs and stuff going off, most of the time, because ESAUS, he does bomb places, but most of the time those news articles that you see on the headlines and stuff, they're fabricated. They use AI, CGI, just like the movies. What's no different? You think they're gonna be honest with you? Was ESAUS ever honest?
He's gonna use every weapon
a fucking
he
liar,
can, man.
And I want to bring out. Let me see. Revelation 19 and 20. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, which he had deceived them, had received the mark of the beast. And them that worshipped his image, both were cast alive into the lake of fire with brimstone. So those false prophets, those people that advocate that it's fine, you got Nate from IUIC. Who knows if it comes down to it, if he's got to tell his congregation to take it or not, or tell them that's not the mark, it's fine.
There was somebody telling their congregation to take the chip. Like,
if you have to take it for your job, then take it. Who knows if they say some shit like that. That guy's an agent right there. He's bought out.
Yeah, man.
And that guy, that individual does that. He's a false prophet, and he's gonna be the one that's gonna be cast alive into the lake of fire and brimstone. The scriptures say, Revelation 19 and 20. But you might ask what the mark is about. Let's bring that out, because a lot of people think it means something different, and they're ultimately wrong when they're breaking things down. But the mark, I'm going to bring it out. It means shragma, okay? And I'm going to bring this out in the interlinear concordance, okay? Wait for it to load. Lord's will, it loads. But why is there a pause on it? Does that mean it's on slow?
No, that's not. That, don't touch that.
Okay. All right, and then this is gonna be Mark G5 480 Sharagma. Let's see.
Strong's G 5480 Haragma.
Haragma. So that means a stamp or imprinted mark. A mark stamped on the forehead or on the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist.
It doesn't mean fucking...
It doesn't mean not keeping the Sabbath or the name JC.
Yeah.
How does that make sense? It has to be a mark, an imprinted mark. It continues to say a brand. Okay, a thing carved, sculpture, graven work. So a sculpture, they have to use an incision to cut that open and to put that chip.
These retards saying, I believe it's a spiritual mark, man.
Of course it's spiritual and physical. You have to have the Holy Spirit.
But don't just say it's only spiritual.
Yeah, the Spirit has to be dealing with you. The Lord has to be dealing with you.
Then you're an altar of fucking confusion.
Okay, then you're confusing, man. You're confusing. But it's ultimately it's going to be a cutting. So you have to willingly go up and take that and get that carved into you and place and implant it. It's an implant. It's a brain chip. Okay, the RFID microchip, according to Revelation. Okay,
is the mark of
chapter
the beast.
13 and 14 is the mark of the beast, the RFID microchip.
Yep.
Okay, we said it time and time again. The RFID microchip is the mark of the beast, spoken about in the book of Revelation. Okay, it's nothing else. Okay, so if your church is saying something differently, or a congregation or a camp that you're a part of, leave immediately, because they're going to lead you astray.
Yep.
Okay, they're false prophets. Okay, and ultimately, the elect is going to be able to. What does it say? The elect had not obtained.
Yeah, we're gonna let's finish off with that verse. So the election have obtained it, but the rest were blinded. And then we'll close out.
Yeah, and then I want to say endure. Okay, but let's go.
All right.
Yeah. Romans 11 and 7. What then? Israel had not obtained which ye seek it for, but the election had obtained it, and the rest were blinded. So the rest, man, these people that take it, they don't want to listen. They don't want to take heed to the Lord's word and the prophets out here speaking. They're going to be blinded, and they're ultimately going to be in a pit of destruction. Okay, and you warn them, but you got to endure and you got to resist temptation. And we want to bring this last precept out, and then close out the camp. Let's see. The book of James 1:12 through 16. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. Okay? So, It says, let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of Yahweh. For Yahweh can't be tempted with evil, neither tempted every man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away by his own lust and enticeth. Then, when lust hath conceived, bring forth own sin, and sin, when it is finished, bring forth death. Do not err, my beloved brethren. So, you got to resist these lusts, these temptations, man, this flesh. Resist the flesh. Put off the flesh, okay, and endure, all right? With that being said, Lord willing, I pray that you found this camp exhorting and edifying. We want to give all the glory, honor and praises to
Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem,
Rakah
Rakah
Kadash. Okay, double honors to our elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Peace and salutation unto the Lord's elect. Okay, the hopeful elect and the 1/3.
It's Brother Barak.
Brother Yawasap.
With that
Okay.
being said, Shalom.
Abad Babal.
Abba, Babba.